Yo, what up guys, Beside here. Recently Raid launched this short video on their YouTube channel talking about the details about this new cost city that is coming up, the lore and everything. They went into a little bit of detail, but in this video we now have more information about the new boss that will be tied to this new cost city that we have to deal with. Different bosses, but he's like the main new one. Other ones and maybe other bosses we already have in-game that will be paired together. We already know that, but now they are adding a new individual boss who is just gonna be maybe impossible to defeat. This video you take a look at his skills, his abilities, and every other thing that which type of champions that you can use against him, and maybe that will guide you. I can't wait to see this new content and find out more details about it. But for now, let's see what this character looks like. Or before we go into the character, let me tell you what Raid has to say about him, specifically the boss. His name is Amius the Lunar Archon. So yes, it's not just a boss, it's a god entirely new boss for that raid, for that cost city. They say the boss will have two forms, just like mythical champions. Each form will require its own strategy. So this is not just a boss that has 4 or 5 abilities that you have to deal with. He will have up to 8 depending on which form that he takes on. So prepare yourself before messing with this body. That's what they called him. Amus transformation is tied to the new unique buff that he places on himself. So if he doesn't place that buff, I guess he will not transform. And in the base form, he doesn't let you debuff himself. So on the normal base form, you cannot debuff him, and then buffs himself instead. Heals a lot. That's still the base form. So it has more of a supportive purpose. So the base form is where you can deal much damage to him, I guess, because he'll just be doing healing and not allow debuffs on him. While the alternate form, which is going to be the other form that he switches to, Amus becomes a killing machine. So that is going to be all about damage, and maybe you cannot even survive through it. Messing with your buffs, replacing them with debuffs, and hitting hard. That's the 2 ways. Again, they stress it clearly that he's not like going to transform like you see mythical champions do, but he'll just have a little bit of graphics differences right here to change him up and become a new type of skill that will be attached to it. So what does it look like? He's now, maybe by the time you see this video, I don't know if he'll be in the game, but this is what he'll look like in the game when it's finally launched. And I don't know if that's his transformation or a skill that he's using, but that's Amus. What's his name again? Amius the Lunar Archon. What's so special about this champion? That's what this video is all about. Let me switch over to my file right here and show you what Amus will do if you do not kill him, or if you, this will help you tell whether you can even deal with him in the first place. It's a long raid. Now, all you're seeing right here in the screen is just one of his skill, which is going to be his base form. It's written right here at the bottom, base form, Amus the Lunar Archon. Then when he transforms, this is what you're expecting to happen in the alternate form, Amus the Lunar Archon, this alternate form. The difference is he has more candles. That's the visual. You see, there's no much visual difference. It's still red, but there are more candles in this alternate form, and there are less candles here. I guess that's one difference. It looks almost the same though, but it's a little bit different, I think. Yeah, a lot of more red, I guess. They should have made it entirely different design though, but I guess they didn't want to make a lot of changes like that. The main thing is the skills are not the same that you're seeing on this form. He does a different skill than the other one. I guess that's the news I wanted to give you guys. You can wait until he's out in the game to read about this and know how he's going to be beaten, or wait till the content creators who have access to the test server test him out, build teams around him, and tell us which type of champions will be best suited for him. Or if you want a challenge, you want to know what he's all about, you can watch on to this video and let's talk about his skills a little bit. I just wanted to make sure I put out the information. That's all. Now I want to see on my own whether I can have a bit of understanding of his skills, and so whenever I come across him, we can maybe talk about which best champions can be used to beat him. On the A1, it's a long read. I'm just going to summarize it so you can maybe pause and read it on your own. Increases damage. That's an A1 that will attack everybody. Increase damage inflicted by this skill by 10% for each buff on himself. So if he has a lot of buffs, That's 10%, 10%, 10% per buff he has on himself. So you probably don't want him to remove it or take your buffs. Also heals Amus by 100% of the damage dealt. That's a big heal. Does that mean heal reduction will be used on this champion? Because healing by 100% of the damage dealt is crazy. It's going to be more difficult than any boss we've seen in the game. We're already expecting it, right? But let's see. Includes damage dealt to shield buffs. So even if you have shield on your allies and then he deals that damage to the shield, that doesn't stop that he will not heal by that amount. It's not just a HP that heals him, it's also the shield. That's the A1, crazy A1. We can already tell it's gonna heal him a lot. That's the base form that heals a lot. On the A2, 3-turn cooldown before attacking, increased duration of all buffs that he has on himself, decreases duration of any debuff that he has on himself by 1 turn, heals Amus by 20% of the max HP, of his own max HP, 20% max HP. So the A1 healing is not enough. Even the A2 is also healing this boss. The heal increases by 5% for each buff that has its duration increased. So if he buffs himself or increase duration of his buffs, he's going to have a lot more healing than 20%. And then fill stun meter by 10% for each debuff that has its duration decreased. If you place debuff on him, he decreases their duration. That's 10% stun meter fill per each. So does that mean don't debuff this champion? Because if he uses this A2, he's just going to get full stun meter again if you have 2, 3, well, up to 4 debuffs on him. All right, removes any block buff debuff. So if you're trying to stop him from buffing himself, he's going to remove it and replace it with a block debuff buff instead, lasting for 3 entire turns. Also removes any debuffs negatively affecting stats. So that's decrease attack, decrease defense. He's going to remove it and replaces it with their mirrored buff environment. He's going to replace decrease defense with increase defense. He's going to replace decrease attack with increase attack, such as decrease attack and all that stuff. Debuffs such as heal reduction and weaken will be replaced with continuous heal and strengthen. That's the part I just didn't want to hear. But I guess there are heal reduction champions who place it and it cannot be removed. Hopefully we can still place debuff like that to stop that healing from coming to him. Heal reduction that cannot be removed, basically debuff that cannot be removed, will be amazing right here. So he's gonna replace, that's a full team. He's cleansing all the debuff and replacing it with the opposite. That's a big thing to deal with. All mirrored buffs last for 3 turns. Then places stun debuff on all enemies except mythical champions. So anybody you bring in right here will be stunned when he uses this skill, but if it's mythical, he cannot stun them. All forces all mythical champions to change form. So if they are in their transformed stage, they will go to base form. What if they are in the base form? Will they transform to other form? I think so. Finally, fills Amius stun meter by 10% for each debuff converted into a buff by this skill. That's a lot of stun meter fill from every skill. Now, this is a passive. Whenever an enemy is healed, Amus also heals by 25% of the value of the original heal. Whenever an enemy is healed, he also heals 25% of the value of the original heal. So that's not including masteries and other stuff that is adding to it. Doesn't work on the heals from swapping HP and equalizing. So I guess you want to be swapping HP and equalizing instead of doing an actual heal for your allies. What about from continuous heal? What if you place continuous heal and then it heals them? Will it also heal him? Heals Amus by 100% of the damage inflicted against shield buffs. If a shield is removed by damage, Amus will heal equal to the full value of the shield. Whenever an enemy decreases a skill cooldown with an artifact accessory or decreases the cooldown of Amus. So if you do it to yourself, it happens to him also. This is a lot of conditions. Basically, they want this boss to be impossible to deal with. Even another passive and another passive. I don't think I can read any further. I'm already scared. Just reading this A2 and A3, I'm already scared. I can't even go down here. He's immune to freeze, sleep, provoke, through fear, petrification as usual. Decreases the damage inflicted by bosses for each awakened level. So when they said you do not need awakened champion, but you benefit if you bring in awakened champions. Increases the damage received by the boss for each awakened level. So that's a lot of what do you call it now, advantage if you bring in fully awakened champions right here that you can benefit from using this on this boss. All right, let's just peep a little bit at this damage mode. This is all the healing mode. Let's see the alternate form mode and see if it's even more scarier. Attacks one enemy 2 times will ignore 100% of the target's defense. How can anybody survive this? Damage increases by 20% for each debuff on the enemy. Increases Amus ignore defense effect for each awakened level on the target. Okay, decreases it. Okay, that's good. So if you are fully awakened, his ignore defense won't be 100%. That's what it means. 5% for each level, 10% for levels 3 to 6, and stacks up to 50%. So you can't have even if you're 6-star ascended, you still can't have that ignore defense removed. It will still be at least at max 50% ignore defense is coming to that target. 2 hits. AoE hit before attacking increases duration of all debuffs and all that stuff. Decreases each enemy's turn meter by 10%. It removes any block debuff buff. I thought the only skill that was that top part was doing all these removes. Even the damage skill that they are talking about also removes block debuff buffs from enemies and places them on replaces with a block buff debuff instead, lasting 3 turns. So it's gonna do the opposite to us. What makes him transform? I've not seen that part. Maybe I skipped it. Revives. At the start of this turn, places an Eclipse buff on him for 3 turns. At the start of his turn, it's on a 4-turn cooldown though. He places an Eclipse. This buff cannot be removed, transferred. That's what I wanted to see. So you cannot stop him from transforming. This skill will be on a 4-turn cooldown at the start of the battle, and whenever Amus transforms into his base form. Alright, so I guess you could stop him from placing it. So if you're going first before he takes a turn, you could place block debuff, block buff debuff on him. If that happens, he will not be able to place this Archons and send in passive, the Eclipse. And if he doesn't place this Eclipse, he cannot transform. So if you can keep him in this basic stage, I guess you can survive and deal with the healing and all that stuff. But if he transforms, can you survive this other alternate form? That's the question. Because when that Eclipse come back, does it transform back to the base form? I don't know. Damage from skills with scale based on enemy mastery which cannot exceed, yeah, as usual. Decreases damage inflicted by the boss for each awakened year. So I don't know what you think about this, but I'm already scared. It seems like he's going to be doing everything you don't want the boss to do. But I trust the raid community, they will find a way through it. I did not see this boss ignoring block damage. So I think block damage and unkillable. Okay, here it is. Reduce the amount of healing that enemy receives when he's under this Eclipse. Ignores shield, block damage, and unkillable buffs when Amus is under the Eclipse. So the basic thing is you don't want him to have this Eclipse. If he has this Eclipse, he will ignore block damage, shield, and unkillable. But if this Eclipse is not here, your block damage and unkillable could work. All right, that's the part I wanted to see. I wanted to see if we could work on it, something that could just, survive these big hits, but I guess this alternate form. But on this basic form, he doesn't ignore block damage. See, this basic form is just annoying to deal with. But on this alternate form, he ignores block damage, unkillable, and all those things we keep ourselves alive with. I'd love to know your thoughts on this champion coming into raid. I don't know if by the time you're seeing this video is already launched in the game, but I can't wait to see the new content, even if you can eventually beat this boss, because it seems like an end game content, even more difficult than any content we've seen so far in the game. I think it will still be interesting for those players who are already fighting in higher levels, are beating everything in raid, to figure out teams that can eventually beat him. But this is not the ultimate goal. You can get rewards along the way while you're beating all those other bosses. Before you get to him, there are many other content you can enjoy in that cost city. Even if you can't get this done one day, so Amius will be the next thing that a lot of players try to achieve, the next biggest boss in raid. That is going to be the thing that brings endgame players back to raid, while newer players don't even bother about it, don't even worry about it. You can figure out all the other content along the way to get to this boss. But for now, let's see. Hopefully the battle to defeat him will be worth it. Maybe the reward is what, a sacred shard whenever you beat him. I'm just talking rubbish right now. All right, that's all I wanted to share with you guys in this video, and happy weekend. I'll see you guys in the next one. Don't forget to like and subscribe, and share your thoughts below about Amius the Lunar Archon. Think it's impossible, or do you find a way right now? So you're reading the skills, you already think of a few champions that can be good here. I can't even try. I'll wait till other content creators test it out, try it out, put out the champions, and then I'll share it with you guys later, guys.